Hello everyone, welcome back in today's video. In today's video we are going to see how to create a custom VPC in AWS using Terraform. So what is mean by VPC? A VPC is nothing but a virtual private cloud, is your own isolated section in AWS. It let you create or let you control your IP ranges, subnets, route tables and gateways. So we are going to cover some points in that: CIDR blocks, subnets, route tables, and internet gateway. And in Terraform, we are going to cover Terraform providers, Terraform resources, and some commands: Terraform init, Terraform plan, and Terraform apply command. So let's jump into the coding section. So I will create a resource, first a provider resource block. That provider. So provider is nothing but the plugins which will use to create resources in that particular cloud provider. So like example, AWS, GCP and Azure. So now we are going to create a VPC in AWS, so we are going to use AWS provider. So that is AWS plugins. I'll define the provider block here, AWS, and I'm using Mumbai region, so I'll define the region, which region I'm using, AP South A. Okay, here I have defined the provider block. I'll next we'll go for the main configuration of the VPC. So let's start with the VPC.tf. In a VPC, before creating a VPC, we need to keep some points in mind. While creating a VPC, we have to create a CIDR blocks for that. We have to create a subnets for that. We have to create a internet gateway. We have to create route tables for that as well. So we will see meaning of each and every block. So let's start with a VPC resource block. Resource AWS VPC. As I said, VPC is nothing but a virtual private network, virtual private cloud. We will create a main VPC, and attributes for to create a VPC we will use CIDR blocks. CIDR blocks is nothing but IP range of we are defining IP range for that VPC. So I am defining 10.0.0.0/16, and I'm just defining some tags for a that VPC. Name equal to the main VPC. It's up to us. What is the name you want to give? You can give. So we have completed with the resource block of VPC. Now we'll go for another resource block, that is subnet. What is mean by subnet? Subnet is nothing but a IP range. Chunks, we are dividing whatever the IP range we have defined here in a VPC, AWS VPC. We are dividing that IP range in chunks. So we are creating different IP ranges. We are dividing that IP block range in some blocks. So I'll show you how we can define that. Resources AWS subnet. I'm giving a name to that subnet is a public subnet. Okay, and we are defining IP range for that subnet is 10.0.1.0/24. VPC. Okay, VPC. Okay, we have to mention the VPC ID as well. We are referring above VPC, where in which VPC we are creating that subnet, so we have to refer that AWS VPC main.id. Okay, so we have declared that. Now we have to declare the availability zone as well. So already I have shown that availability zone in a provider block. So we are using AP South 1A. So we are mentioning this, or we are defining this availability zone here. Um, Now we have to define the tags as well. Name, sorry, name, public subnet. Okay. Yeah, now we are done with the public subnet. Now we are going to create next resource, that is internet gateway. Why we are going to create an internet gateway? To enable uh, internet access, or you need to access public subnet on via internet. So we will create that internet gateway, so you can access what are the resources or public subnet which we have created in that VPC as a publicly. Then you can use internet in a simple language. If you want to access that public subnet what are the resources we have created in the public subnet via internet, then you need to create a internet gateway. So resource AWS internet gateway, the name will be IGW, just example internet gateway, we can mention that. VPC, in which VPC ID we are creating, VPC ID. So AWS VPC main.id. Okay, that we have done here. Now we have created subnets, internet gateway. Here we can create a tags as well if you want. uh, Creating tags is a best practice. Name will be main IGW. Okay, that's what is sufficient. Now we are going to create another resource, that is called route table. Why we are going to create a route tables? What is the use of route tables? Route tables will control the traffic routing within your VPC. So that's why we are creating a routing tables. Route resource, route AWS route tables, route. We are creating a route table for this here, table, and the table name will be public RT. Okay, so this is what we have done. Then VPC ID, VPC ID, sorry, VPC ID AWS VPC dot ID. Now we'll create a routes for this. CIDR. So I want to access the resources which created in a uh, that public subnet. So I'll publicly I want to access, so that's why I'm giving the global range, and then gateway ID AWS internet gateway dot ID. That is we have done now. Okay, now we have created 4 resources. Means we have written a configuration for 4 resources. One is VPC, one is subnet, one is internet gateway, one is route table. Now we have created subnets, we have created routes, but we haven't assigned the routes to that subnets. Without assigning that routes, it will not work anything. So you are not able to access any resources which we have created in that particular public subnet on internet. So we will create a association for that resource, AWS route table association public association RT. I'm just giving any name. Then we subnet ID is subnet ID AWS subnet dot ID. Then a route table ID AWS route dot ID. Okay, okay, that's done. We are done with this configuration for the resources. Now once I execute this code, I want to print some outputs. I want some outputs, so I'll use output. So I'll store that outputs in this using that output file tf. So first I want VPC ID I want here. So I'll use value AWS VPC main-Vpc.id, and another one I want, that is subnet of that subnet ID. Subnet ID main. I can give a main. Main. Okay, so I will declare here value AWS subnet public.id. Okay, yes, now we are done with the coding. Now we'll start execution. So very first we will run Terraform init command. What is the use of Terraform init command? Terraform init command will find the latest version of the plugin and download and install it in the system. So it will use to create a resources. So it will useful to create a resource. So that's what Terraform init command will download the required plugins to create a resources and install it in the system. So we'll do that. Now you can see this initializing the backend, initializing the provider plugins, finding the latest version of that AWS plugins and installing in the system. You can see here. It will take some time. It's still installing now. Once the installation will complete, it will give a successful message as well. We'll wait for some time. It's still installing. It's still installing, so waiting for that. Yeah, now it successfully installed the required plugins. Now we'll go for the Terraform plan command. So what is mean by Terraform plan command? Before creating anything, it will run the Terraform code and it will show you what is going to create. It exactly a dry run. You can consider as a dry run. Terraform. It will show you what is going to create, but it will not create. Terraform plan command will show you what is going to create, but it is not creating exactly. So we'll show you. Yeah, you can see here all resources is going to see. First is internet gateway, which we have already declared. Route tables, it will show. It is a association of route tables. It will show subnets, which subnet is going to create, what IP ranges we have declared here, and what VPC, which VPC we are going to create. And it will show plan will show 5 to add, means it haven't created it. It's just showing that it will create. So now we will use Terraform apply command. Terraform apply command is actually it will create the resources. So once I run the Terraform apply command, but it's need approval. So I'll provide S as approval, and then it start creating resources. So you can see here, main VPC is created, subnet error, subnet HTTP error, sub 400 code, availability zone invalid. Okay, so we'll check the availability zone is invalid. It's showing that invalid. Subnet. 1 second. So, oh, I'm so sorry, the spelling mistake. I'll save it and I'll run it. You can see here Terraform apply. It will start creating. Then it will see it will create a, yeah, it creating subnets. Yeah, now it is created two resources, but before that it's already created some resources, so that's why it haven't created. It's created from the previous one. You can see these two outputs. I want these two outputs, and it is created. We are done with the VPC. Before ending this video, we need to clean up what we have created. If we haven't clean up anything, then AWS will start charging us for this resources. So we will run the Terraform destroy command to approve. So it will run the Terraform. Terraform destroy command will delete all the resources which we have created on the AWS. See, it is deleting the VPC, subnet IDs, VPC main ID, association tables. Yeah, you can see the 5 resources has destroyed. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please share, subscribe, and like this video, so I'll get more confident to create more videos, and I'll help you in future. Thank you so much. Thanks.